That's where we are going now in about 1 minute.
Very good, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, as Grace dives into Facebook, you can indicate how your day was by using any emoji. Please be as exuberant, be as lively as possible. How was your Tuesday? How was your Tuesday? How was your Tuesday? How was your Tuesday? I can see who has landed on the moon first. Let me see. I can see who is that? I've seen some stickers and emojis, but I cannot be able to see who has landed first. But let us send those emojis. How you had? She has had a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That is a very, very good emoji to show how lively the day has been to you. Let us all do it. Let us all do it. Let us appreciate ourselves. If you had a good day, say it. If you had a bad, say it. Don't sweep what day you had under the carpet. Wellness, Lillian Adware, you say that the day was great. You're saying the day was great. If you felt sad, you felt sad. There's no reason for you to hide. You felt sad, you felt sad. If you felt happy, if you felt happy, just say it. Don't sweep what day you sad and cold. Yes, Helen Nderitu, you're saying it was sad and cold. My day was fabulous. That is Lois Silong, one of my public speaking students, was good. That is Nehemiah. Good day, but busy. However, I conquered. We conquered. Very good. You conquered. Peggy, you're saying ish. What does it mean? It was there in between successful. Edward Wangare, you're saying thankful. My day was great. Miriam Mwalo, you're saying successful. Let us continue saying how our day was. Mine was fantastic. I met a few friends. Yes. Are we ready, Grace? Very good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Get It Right Tuesday, where we demystify career concepts and business concepts so that we can be able to understand them, so that we can be able to flourish. And tonight we have a very wonderful topic, mentorship from career goals to guided growth. And we have an amazing speaker. But before we introduce our speaker tonight, I am going to give a shout out to the sponsors of tonight's conversation. Grace, can you be able to put the slides for the sponsors? Karombutia, you're saying my day was fantastic, though flu has put me down. Drink a lot of liquids, drink a lot of ginger, drink a lot of garlic. Nancy Njoga, you saying mine was productive. I thank God. That's very good. Yes, our sponsors are here. Nile Front in Uganda. For those people who love the land of Matoke, you can have accommodation at the Nile Front. It is absolutely amazing. It is scenic. You will enjoy, and it's really value for money. When you're in Uganda, make sure you visit Nile Front cottages and enjoy some of the good food and the ambience in that area. Then we have Profiles International. Profiles International train people on emotional intelligence. They train people on psychometric tests. They train people on soft skills generally. So if you want to understand emotional intelligence, you want to understand the measurement of psychological issues when you're recruiting and all that, Profiles International is where you should visit. Then we have in Rwanda, one of the most beautiful, beautiful countries on earth. But when you are in Rwanda and you want to consult, K2 HR Services by Stephen Karangwa, that is the organization that you should consult when you are in Rwanda. Actually, now it is setting its footprints into East Africa. Then we have Steadfast Quality Solutions by Herbert Zake, who is a Gallup Strengths trainer. If you want to understand which competencies that you have, which competencies that you need to monetize, which competencies that you need to use in your business, in your career development, Steadfast Quality Solutions, those are the people that you should talk to. Then we have AAR Insurance for all your insurance needs. They got you covered. Talk to them. That is AAR. Then we have Hotel Sapphire. I have gone to this particular hotel. It is beautiful. It is a place that you will relax when you're in Mombasa, and they have got the best tea, coffee, and the swimming pool itself. Ooh, wow. If you want to enjoy life in Mombasa, Hotel Sapphire is the place to be. Then Panessa Training Institute, if you want those very beautiful, magnificent, good work things, the things that you need to have in your house, well done. Also, you want to take a student who loves good work, Panessa Training Institute is the place to be. Then for those people who love saving, there are people who love saving, there are people who love saving. Port Circle, their motto is uplifting people. In fact, there's a day we went with my cousin to withdraw money from Port Circle. Very well managed. Port Circle, if you want to invest, that is the place to invest if you love issues to deal with circles. Then we have Soted Kinyumbani. I have eaten, me and Grace have eaten, and a host of other people, we have eaten at this facility, as this establishment. The food, the African food, the ambience, absolutely fantastic, absolutely sumptuous meals that are served there. If you are in Nyanyuki, Sotet Kinyumbani is the place to be. Then the classic, the beautiful Tufaa Resort, also in Nyanyuki. If you want to enjoy a very scenic, panoramic view in Nyanyuki, Tufaa Resort is where you should stay and enjoy. Of course, we cannot forget to say that we have, that is, Atara Solutions have a mentorship program that is starting on the 2nd of January, I think. The cost is 24,000. That is Kenyan money. Then if you're from Uganda, you will pay 680, 402. The account is 0119295254640. This program will train you on how to do HR audit. It is the new kid on the block. If you want to mint money, idle money, learn how to do HR audit. You get in, but you have got to be trained. You have got to invest in it. Then HR policies. What are the best parts of a HR policy? What makes a well-done policy? This is what this program of Growth Grit mentorship program cohort 2 will do to you. How do you come up with a HR budget? How do you come up with a HR budget? That is what you'll be trained. Then we have, of course, the African Transformational Leadership Conference that will be between the 6th and August, the 6th of 8th of August 2025 It is in partnership with K2 Career Center, Institute of Human Resource, and of course, Atara Solutions. Don't miss to attend. It will be at Sarova Pan-African. Let us dive into tonight's discussion. Grace, the moderator of choice, is known by very many things. She moderates events, she trains, she's the team lead of Atara Solutions, where you get inspired, where you become a leader, where you have to learn to think innovatively, where you have to learn how to be an authentic HR. But for you to become a well-grounded HR, you must be mentored. In fact, I should say one of the greatest things that I regret, it is not having a mentor. But here you have a solution. You will be mentored by some of the best mentors and coaches that you'll be able to find. That is Grace and Anne Wamonje. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our moderator of choice, Grace Nzula, so that she can tell us what is mentorship? How do you get out of the ruts? How do you get out of that situation where you are stuck? Karibu, Grace, tell us something that will catapult our practice.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Positive Flavors, otherwise known as the audacious Richards. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. And yes, the mentorship program is actually starting tomorrow, 2nd of July. And it's a virtual program, and I will tell you more about it. And also the Africa Leadership Conference is from the 6th to 8th of August at Sarova Pan-Africa here in Nairobi. Come network, come interact, and come meet different people. And of course, it's an honor to be here. Richard, you forgot to introduce Catherine.
Oh, Catherine Shidandi, our sign language. We do not forget people. We do a lot of diversity and inclusion. And Catherine Shidandi is the person that you should be talking to when you want to include everybody in your training programs, in your learning program. Catherine Shidandi is the person you should be able to whisper to so that she can make your event an all-inclusive event.
Excellent. Now we have that covered. So and I just want to hear from the audience, like you've heard, my name is Grace Nzula. And I know when I sent out the flyer today, somebody asked me, I have never had you train, and I've attended your Tuesdays every so often. So I'm like, oh, where have you been? Yeah, so here we are. Today I happen to be on the other side, and it's such a pleasure to be here. And I just want to hear from you on your on the chat. Do you have a mentor? And what are your thoughts about mentorship? Do you have a mentor, and what are your thoughts around mentorship? Do you have a mentor, and what are your thoughts around mentorship? If you can engage on the chat, kindly do so. As I also share my screen, Richard, you can look at and share what the audience is saying. So do you have a mentor, and what do you think about mentorship? Please tell us on the chat. What are your thoughts around mentorship? Do you have a mentor, and what are your thoughts around mentorship?
Robert Sakayo has said yes. Jacinta said someone to look up to and who guides you. That is Jacinta K.
All right. As they type, maybe we can also start. So, or rather, just do something. So tonight we want to discuss, how do you move from career goals to career growth? It's one thing to have goals. It's one thing to have expectations. It's one thing to have dreams. But until you start putting actions in place, unless you take the first step, then those become just dreams, those become just wishes, and those become just thoughts. So why do we call it from career goals? Because once you have your goals, you're clear about where you want to go, you're clear about what you want to do, then mentorship comes in handy, because it is mentorship that helps you in your journey towards the growth that you so aspire to have. So that is why we chose this topic tonight. And of course, about Tara Solutions, it is a HR consulting and training company where we specialize in outsourced HR management, consultancy services, learning and development, and talent acquisition. Our mission is to implement best practices and ensure accountability through organizations. And some of our values include accountability, respect, professionalism, and honor. And most of our services would be HR consulting. Are you looking to have legal, or rather to have HR audits? Are you looking to have legal compliance? Are you looking to have payroll management? Are you looking to have policy development and review? Then we will be able to support you in that. Training services, we have coaching, we have soft skills, we have leadership, we have conflict management, we have labor laws, we have team building, and among others. And just so you know, we are actually NITA certified. And then we have offer team building as well. So if you are looking to boost team spirits, mental agility, and collaboration, then we can be able to support you. And then HR manager outsourced, where you need part-time HR or any other HR support services, then Atara Solutions is able to do that for you. Now, back to my question. Any other input, Richard? Okay, I see you have disappeared. Zachary says, yes, someone to hold your hand as you grow. And Damari says, no, I believe it is someone who walks with us through career and personal journey. And Jane says, I do not have a mentor yet, but as a mom who has been on career break, I'm looking for mentorship to guide me and hold my hand as I get back to work. Jane, I hope you have joined Jane Mutisia's program. Is the conference, is it this week, Richard? Is it this Saturday or next Saturday?
I have to confirm that, but it should be the first week of July. Let me check.
Yeah, which is this Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday. Yeah, Jane Mutunga said next Saturday. Yeah.
Yes. I hope you have signed up for that. All right. So as we discuss mentorship, I have seen occasions where mentorship is confused with coaching. Mentorship is confused with therapy sessions. There's a very thin line when it also comes to training. So allow me to just differentiate those five schools of thought, or is it what, ideas. So and when we talk about mentorship is offering guidance from one's own experience or in a specific area of career development. Now, how is that different from coaching? Coaching is where it's a partnership in thought-provoking and creative process. So normally when in coaching, we use questioning, because the person who is coaching you doesn't have to have experienced or been through what you're looking mentorship for. So coaching is where you get guidance to be able to unleash your potential, get unstuck, and then be able to thrive or succeed or thrive in your area of interest. And then we have consulting. Consulting is assessing an organization's practices and recommending solutions for improvement based on expertise in a specific area. So when I say I'm an HR consultant, I will be able to give you solutions so that you can get better in organizations in the areas of HR. So you will have consultants who are in accounting, like my good friend Dorothy. She's an internal auditor and she offers governance and internal audit assurance, and she's able to give you advice and recommendations based on her area of expertise. We have Richard here, who is a public speaking consultant, who will help you become better at public speaking. You know, so those are consultants, and it is very different from mentorship and coaching. And then we have counseling. Counseling is healing pain. You know, when we say go for therapy, you know, you can actually come for a mentorship or a coaching session, and we would tell you, please go for therapy as well, because we have been able to identify an emotion that needs to be dealt with, or a pain that needs to be dealt with, or a conflict that needs to be unpacked, okay? So that you can improve your state of emotions, right? That is counseling. And then training, it is working towards achievement of specific learning objectives based on a set curriculum. So I like we said, at Tatara Solutions, we offer you training services. So when we come, you invite us to speak to your people about leadership. We will be able to take through leadership concepts in the hope that they can take that and result in based on that curriculum that we have developed together, and then we all move towards a specific direction. So if you look at all these things, they are actually intertwined, but however, a lot of people confuse them. So sometimes you want to have a coach, sometimes you want to have a mentor. And I keep telling who are we? Professionals, that you actually need a 5 circle of excellence. Gosh, you need a circle of excellence. And in your circle of excellence, you need to have a mentor, you need to have a coach, you need to have a therapist. Okay, those are key in your career growth. A mentor, a coach, and a counselor or a therapist. And those will actually play very different aspects of your life. And then, of course, you need to come here every Tuesday so that we can train you to become a better at what you do. And then, as and when you need consultancy services, we would be able to come and give you the consultancy services. And I hope that is clear, so that in the future, as we discuss, when you're thinking about coaching, you don't confuse coaching with mentorship, or because they mostly go hand in hand. In my case, for example, I am a certified coach. I have gone to school and I have learned how to become a certified coach, because there is the science of questioning. There's the science you apply to coach somebody, and coaches have not necessarily have experienced what you have experienced. But mentorship, it is guidance through the journey that somebody has been through. So if you get one person, a coach and a mentor together, then my friend, you're home and dry, because you have 2 people who are very important in your life to impact you. Now, because I know we have different people from different walks of life, I thought it is important to also just let you know that we have different types of mentorship. We have the one-to-one mentorship, where it is myself and you who come into a mentorship program, and we share experiences. Okay. And then number 2, we have group mentorship, which is mostly one mentor and many mentees. Now, group mentorship is, for example, Transcend, which IHRM is running. A Transcend program has the mentors and mentees, and you are in a group. We call them cells. We call them circles. What do we call them? Transcend circles, yes. Yes, so you are part of a circle, and then you have a mentor and you have mentees, and together you walk the journey of mentorship. And then we have formal. Now, one-on-one or group can be informal or can be formal. But formal is where it is structured. For example, Growth Grade Mentorship Program with Atara Solutions. It is structured, it is guided, it is targeted, and it has a time frame. Our program goes for 8 weeks. So every week there's something we are discussing. Every week there is a matter we are looking into. And then at some point we have a one-on-one with you, so that we can also make it now, bring it home. And then we have informal, which is unstructured. I get a lot of requests where people ask me, Grace, could you be my mentor? That could be an informal. I get a lot of questions. You know, somebody calls me and says, wait, I'm being told to give a show cause notice because something happened, and then I'll be like, okay, this, that. That is an informal kind of mentorship. And then, of course, because we're in the age of technology, there is virtual mentorship where, of course, you use technology. And then this is no, it's also, remote mentorship includes virtual or location independent. It does not mean that because we cannot meet one-on-one, we cannot have mentorship. And then there's also skill-based mentorship where you transfer skills. And this happens, for example, in the technical world, where somebody, a master craftsman, for example, Panessa Training Institute, we will take you on to work with an experienced carpenter who can transfer the carpentry or woodworking skills to you. And that is also training oriented. And then we have executive mentorship, where the focus is strictly on leadership, where we are saying, let us develop the next crop of leaders in our organization. That is, it involves coaching as well, so that then it is connected and it is flowing. Richard, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, I saw a sign that my internet is yeah. So yeah. So why do we need mentorship? I was really taken aback today when I heard that 79% of millennials identify mentorship as vital for career journeys, highlighting its growing importance in today's professional landscape. So imagine, I belong to the millennial class, so us, we think that mentorship is part of how you grow. And to be honest, I think it is true that mentorship, and I will tell you personally, I have worked with mentors. I have worked with coaches, because you cannot do this life alone, my good friends. Imagine, sometimes you will be stuck. For me, because I've had to learn and rise through the ranks. And sometimes one of the things that you need is a phone call that you can make, and somebody helps you unpack a decision that you need to make. When I was transitioning into business world, I have a mentor in business. When I am sitting in the board, the first time I sat in the board as a board member, I looked for a mentor, somebody to tell me how things are done. And mentorship is not just up down, it is also peer mentorship. You can mentor one another. Richard and I are always mentoring each other. You can also have what we call reverse mentorship. I was thinking about it the first time I sat in the board of in a government institution. I needed to understand how it is run in that line of work, because it is very structured. And one of the people who gave me mentorship was actually a junior. So reverse mentorship, it could be peer mentorship, it could be top down mentorship. Okay. And then accelerated development. I tell you, whenever you hear people say, I am where I am because I have stood in the shoulders of long people, something like that, it means that you actually speed your development. Okay. You go beyond, sometimes whenever you hang out with people who are way above you, or people who seem to have gone through the journey of where you want to get to, you want to hear how they have gotten there. And this thing opens up your mind. It gives you hope. It gives you the zeal, the motivation, the discipline, because you sit with them and realize, wait a minute, these guys are actually human. You probably thought that they were not real, but you realize, my God, these guys are human. Okay. So why mentorship? Because you get accelerated development, and then expanded network. Every time you sign up for mentorship programs, you get to meet other people. You get to have professional connections. You get to have people who can help you unlock hidden opportunities. And then they can also inform you about industry insights. Last time in our mentorship program, cohort 1, we had somebody from Uganda, we had somebody from Tanzania, and then we had people from Kenya. And you can imagine those conversations when they were doing their homework, because you have an assignment to do. And they ended up now interacting, understanding the laws. How does it work in Uganda? How does it work in Tanzania? How does it work in Kenya? And together they were able to curate and learn from one another, and also different industries. Sometimes you interacting with people from the NGO world. Sometimes you're interacting with people from government. Sometimes you're interacting with people from a private sector. You get to expand your network, and probably you're even in mentorship so that you can get a job, like our good friend who has taken a break. So these mentors, or the people you are in the circle of mentorship, you can interact and connect, so that in the next time there are opportunities, you can be let in on those opportunities. Okay. And then it helps you build your confidence. Whenever you're in your journey to career development, one of the things that really stands in the way for us is fear. One of the things that steps in it's also shame. It's also not being sure, am I the one to get there, or who is supposed to get there? So whenever you embrace mentorship, you get to build your confidence. You get to understand, part of their IHRM Transcend program, what they talk about is the 4 P's to help you transcend. And one of the P's is actually personal branding. So how do you create a personal brand that can help you and position you for growth? Okay. So it helps you build your confidence. It helps you in being able to achieve, or rather to overcome professional challenges. So why do we need, or rather, what are the key benefits? What do you gain? What will you gain by becoming part of the mentorship program? The first thing is you get personalized guidance. How do you relate with people? Or rather, I mean, you get a voice that is tailored for you. All right. How do you set goals? Or how do you become a thriving HR professional? How do you become the it in your industry? So, and this one becomes one-on-one, because you're able to address the individualized challenge. Sometimes the challenge could be lack of opportunities. Sometimes it could be a mindset. Sometimes it could be lack of knowledge. Okay. So when you get personalized guidance, you're able to unlock that which has made you get stuck. And then you get industry insights. For example, when you join, for example, Growth Grid Mentorship Program, Anne and I will take you through the 7 important tools we think that every HR manager should be very good at. So you're going to learn, how do you do occasional HR audits? How do you prepare your reports? How do you do performance management? Because we want to position you at a better place and give you insights in the industry. And then skills enhancement. You get to learn. You get to network. You get to learn about how to position better. You get to become a better version of yourself. If you're a HR practitioner, if you're in marketing, if you're in statistics, if you're in technology, you get to enhance your skill through mentorship. And then higher promotion rates. This is actually studies that were done by Watson. He says that mentees are promoted 5 times more frequently than their unmentored peers. 5 times more frequently than those who are not being mentored. So if you're looking to move your career to the next level, then this is an opportunity that you cannot afford to miss. Sign up for mentorship programs. Look out for people who can mentor you. Hang out with people who can mentor you. Don't just think about sherehe on a Friday. Look out for mentorship opportunities that could come, either in a training that you've attended. Maybe you sit down with somebody who helps you, or you can cultivate a mentorship relationship. And then there's increased job satisfaction. We have different organizations. And by the way, every time I speak to leaders, I keep saying, please establish mentorship programs in your institutions, especially right now. We keep saying that we have half-baked graduates. What are we doing about it? Because they're here, they're with us, they were in our institutions. We also say that whatever people have learned in school and whatever we are practicing practically are not the same. So how do we bridge this gap? It is by making sure that we're establishing mentorship programs and making sure that they're structured and holding people accountable, so that you can create this job satisfaction, you can create commitment, and you can also increase your engagement and retention rates. So, and Bo Sanchez says, getting mentors is the shortcut to success. If you want to succeed, if you want to grow, please get yourself a mentor. Okay, so there's these questions that I have always received. A lot of people have been asking me, so how? And every time I speak about mentorship, one of the questions that never lacks is, how do you choose the right mentor? Now, remember the definition we said of mentorship? Yes, please type YY on the chat if we are still together as I sip my water. Are the YYs coming, Richard?
Richard has said why. I do not know the reason. Yes, it means yes, I think. Yes. Why's. Charles has said why. Helen has said why. Betty has said why. Zachary has equally said why.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the one thing that you need to look out for when you're choosing your mentor is they need to have walked the path you aspire to. If you're looking for a mentor because you want to start a business, you need to look for somebody who is in business. If you want to look for somebody who has worked in the community development or other community service, you look for Catherine Sidandi, who will tell you how it works in the community development side. If you're looking for public speaking, you look for Grace or look for Richard. If you're looking for HR, you look for us because we have been there. Okay, so number one way that you choose the right mentor is they have to have walked the path you aspire to. Okay, and then the second thing is they need to challenge you and inspire you. You can't just be mentored by somebody who does not inspire you. Then that will not work, because then there's nothing they're telling you. So you need to look for somebody who actually inspires you and then challenges you as well. You know, you can be inspired, those ones of, oh my God, with admiration, with, I want to be you. But do they challenge you? Do they challenge you to take action? Do they challenge you to go to the next level? All right. And then they're willing to share and invest. You know, sometimes you want to be mentored, but then you look for somebody and they do not have the time to invest, or rather, to share with you. They are not willing to sacrifice, because mentorship is sacrifice. They don't have time. They don't have an opportunity to mentor you. You know, we've seen, having been part of the Transcend program, sometimes people sign up for mentorship, but when they realize the amount of work it takes to be a mentor and a mentee, people start pulling back. Okay? The mentor you choose must be willing, or has to be willing to share and invest in the time, probably in money as well. All right. And then you need to ensure that your values align. You know, I've heard of a mentorship program where a gentleman was mentoring a certain lady, and that gentleman kept being unprofessional around her, you know, and their values had clashed, and at some point that had to be dropped out, right? So your values have to align with your mentor. Okay. And then your mentor listen more than they talk. So every time you have a one-on-one mentorship program or other session, your mentor needs to listen, because do you remember what we've said? That your mentor needs to help you with your individual solutions. So are they able to listen? Okay. And then do they provide constructive feedback? All right. A mentor needs to be able to provide you with constructive feedback. They are not people pleasing. They are not just going to realize you're not doing very well and then leave you out there. They actually will provide you with constructive feedback. And then they are consistent but not controlling. They will be consistent. They will be very tough on you, but they will not be controlling, because at the end of the day, it is you to take action. Now, as a mentee, this one goes back to you now. All right. Are you willing to be challenged and to be inspired? Okay. Are you willing to invest time? Are you willing to ensure that your values are aligned? Because even for us as mentors, sometimes we pull out because our values are not aligned with you. Right. And then, are you ready to receive this constructive feedback? Are you ready to hear the truth and nothing but the truth? And then, are you able to hear? Are you able to learn? Are you coming with an open mind as a mentee. So those are the things you need to look out for when you're looking for a mentor, and when you as a mentee, things to do. You want to have a mentorship program or establish a mentorship program, the first thing that you ought to do is have structured meetings. Okay, so you need to be very intentional about this mentorship, because you can waste time, by the way. Okay, so you need to have agenda driven sessions, and you have to have clear action items, because remember, you can be mentored and remain where you are. That does not help anyone. So that is why we encourage that for you to grow professionally, your mentorship program is preferably a structured one. Okay, and then it has to have what? Encourage growth. Yeah, we need to help you cultivate a mindset of taking and developing strong leadership abilities. You need to move to the next level. Why would you come for mentorship if you're not willing to move to the next level? And then you need to learn from experience, so whatever mentorship program you're establishing, it has to make sure that there is experience part of it. All right, it has to be very experiential. People have to do, so that you can deal with setbacks, you can celebrate the triumphs, and then you can avoid common pitfalls. So this is how you actually go ahead and establish your mentorship programs, and then build confidence. Your mentorship programs need to elevate the people who have signed up for them. All right, so you need to, because there's continuous feedback. Our mentorship program, sometimes we give people work, and every time before we start a session, we are there giving feedback. And it is important, because you want to know, where have I gone right and where have I gone wrong, and what are the blind spots, how can I improve on this? Okay, so when you want to establish a guided professional growth, then you need to have structured meetings, learn from experience, encourage growth, and build confidence. Those will be your mission for the program. And then, so what are some of the challenges we experience? All right. The first thing is expectations. All right. Now, unmet expectations is a challenge. So how do you address the unmet expectations? The first thing is to make sure you are aligned on expectations from the word go. Be very clear about what you intend to achieve with the mentorship program, and let the mentors also explain to you what they can and cannot do, so that you are aligned on the expectations. Because now when you have unmet expectations, you start be like, oh my god, that mentorship program was so useless. So you need to make sure that you are aligned. Are you people on the same page? Okay, and then time or commitment. I am telling you, when you sign up for mentorship programs, it takes time. We run a very grueling mentorship program for 8 weeks. And after the 8 weeks, within another 2 weeks, we expect you to have booked your one-on-one sessions with with the two mentors, and you need to have sacrificed time. There is presentation to be done, there's homework to be done. All right, are you committed, or are you the kind of person who signs up for 2-3 weeks and then you drop out? Are you willing to sacrifice time? All right, so time is a challenge, but it is also a solution. Be deliberate that you want to go through this mentorship program. When you sign up for Transcend, make sure the Transcend program, Kwanzaa, it goes for 1 year. So from April to April, you are there every time, and you're committed to achieving your goals, because you want to grow. You want to go to the next level. And then communication can be a challenge. Sometimes whatever you're talking about, somebody does not understand, because you're even using the color blue, and color blue reminds them of a sad moment. All right, communication where you misunderstood or misinterpreted. All right, so how do you deal with communication? Again, listen and listen carefully. All right, ask questions. All right, seek clarity. All right, so that then communication becomes a tool to make sure that the program is succeeding. All right, and then access to good mentors. Sometimes you're looking for good mentors and you cannot find, because some of the good mentors you're looking for are too busy to be mentors, to even respond sometimes. All right. Sometimes there are areas of specialization that is really hard to find good mentors. So sometimes, and you sometimes find people who, instead of helping you grow, they end up discouraging you. All right. And then power imbalances. Sometimes you find that your mentor is using their power over you. It becomes a commanding state. It becomes where it is me against you. You know, you're my mentee. What are you talking about? That becomes a big challenge. Okay. So, and I keep saying, when you're a mentor, please open your mind to also receive reverse mentorship. The people who are coming for mentorship have something to offer as well. All right. So remember that we are all learning from one another. And then boundaries and roles. In mentorship, you have to have boundaries. Okay. If we are talking about the session is from 7:30 to 9:30, please, by 9:30 we are done. Because we also know that by 9:40 or 9 whatever, you also need to go and probably be with your family, or you want to have dinner. Okay. Boundaries, to what extent? You know, sometimes I see people with without boundaries, where you even start dating in between a mentorship program. Be very careful, because that means that you have not established boundaries. And then, what is the mentee's role? What is the mentor role? Have them very clearly, so that you can understand, my role is to commit time, my role is to attend class on time, my role is to submit assignments on time, my role is to make sure, you know, I am participating, my role is to make sure my team is also growing. Okay. And then feedback and growth opportunities. Now, sometimes you give feedback and the mentee is not willing to get the feedback. Okay. Sometimes some feedback can seem like it is very harsh. All right. That becomes a challenge. Okay. And then the expectation. Sometimes you just, you know, sometimes you find people who want to come and be your mentees because the only thing they want is because they are looking for a job. So they say, please become my mentor, and then kindly let me know when there are opportunities. So am I mentoring you, or am I doing job placements? Which is which? You know? So you need to be very clear about, when you want mentorship, what really are you looking into? If you want to be able to answer interview questions very well, that is some form of coaching, because somebody will use questions to make sure that you are aligned. So it is very important to actually be aware of yourself as a mentor and of yourself as a mentee on these challenges, and develop solutions early on, so that the relationship is actually mentor-mentee or mentee-mentor relationship. Okay. So we need to have these growth opportunities very well defined. What are we looking at? What is our target? You know, where else are we going? Okay. So that then when you're a mentor, it is very clear for you about where you're taking the world, where are we moving to? Okay. And because I can be here all day, allow me to conclude and say this: mentorship is the bridge that turns potential into performance. Mentorship is the bridge that turns potential into performance. So if you want to grow, if you want to improve on your performance, if you want to take your game to the next level, then please take advantage of mentorship programs. Take advantage and work with a mentor. It could be your supervisor as well, who mentors you. You know, I was very fortunate enough to be mentored by my supervisor into how to run a business, how to manage financial businesses in the business. Okay. I was also fortunate enough to get a mentor in business who is also in consultancy, who'll be like, you know what, this is how you calculate how much you charge. This is how you do your costing, you know, this is how you structure your proposals. Those are mentorship opportunities for you to be able to grow, for you to be able to take your game to the next level. I tell you, please get yourself mentors. And if you're in control in organizations, please establish mentorship opportunities. Establish mentorship programs in your institutions, so that then you're able to build the young generation that is joining your workplaces.
Hey, Grace.
Yes, Richard.
You've ended your conversation?
I am open to questions.
Yes, there is a Carol I want a mentor like Grace who can slap me with the truth. Now, because of what Kara said, what are some of the traits you look for in an impactful mentor as we wait for people to ask questions?
Right. So an impactful mentor, the first thing, like I said, has to be somebody who has walked the journey, or rather the path to where you aspire to be. Number one. Number two, they have to be very good in communication, so that then they're able to pick out what they're able to articulate issues for you. Okay. Number three, they have to also be very good listeners. You cannot run mentorship if you're not ready to listen, because not everybody who is in the line of mentorship have the same issues. You have job seekers, you have people who are in the middle of their career, you have people who are at the top of their career, they want to move to the next level. So when you talk about mentorship, you must be willing to understand the individual needs. The other trait that you need in a mentor is somebody who is able to question and give guidance. You know, there are people who cannot actually ask proper questions. Sometimes people want to become mentors, but they just want to tell you what to do. That's fine. For me, what I will do is I will tell you what to do, but I will also question so that I can understand where exactly are you. Because sometimes you hear people saying, I am so stressed, I cannot take it anymore. But when you hear, it is not the stress that is there. In fact, this is somebody is dealing with a mental issue, not necessarily a financial issue that they were talking about. So you want to have somebody who can actually dig deeper and be able to understand you at the point, as the actual challenge that is going on. So those are some of the traits I can talk about, Richard.
Thank you very much. You've had communication is very important for a mentor. There are requests here I can see. One is from Rose. Rose is asking if you can be her mentor. There is also who is asking. There's Justine who is asking, is it possible you share the slides? Justine, no, slides are not shared. This is to encourage you to go to YouTube and listen to the entire conversation. And also, slides are intellectual property, unless Grace wants to be philanthropic and give them. But as Vincent, should you consider age when choosing a mentor? That is Vincent James.
My answer to that question would be yes and no. Okay. Yes, because your mentor may be too, what do we call it? May have had too much play on the ground. So for example, when you are a HR manager, who was a HR manager, say, up until before COVID, and this is somebody who is probably in their 60s. They probably are very good at what they do. They are keeping up with the industry trends, and you're here 20-something-year-olds, and they're willing to mentor you. Well and good. Then you'll find somebody who is middle-aged, and they're willing to mentor you. Well and good. And then you find somebody who is probably a peer mentor, and you look at them, they just probably have 1 year difference with you, and you're like, not really, not this one. So yes and no, but my answer would be, if you can get people who have been there before you, not necessarily because of their age, but because they have had experiences, then I would say tap into them, because all of them have something to give. And somebody is asking for a YouTube channel. Jacinta, if you can answer that question on YouTube channel, kindly. Go ahead. There's something from Bendetta. Richard.
Thank you very much. What an outing. Thank you, Grace, for thoughtfully unpacking what mentorship truly entails, the do's and don'ts, and the deeper meaning behind. I now understand that mentorship goes far beyond simply asking someone to mentor you. Your insights have truly shifted my perspective. What is that? The other question I could want to ask Grace, are there tools that do an analysis of a person so that they can become self-aware? Do we have tools that can be able to produce consistent and valid results when somebody wants to measure themselves so that they can become good mentees? Do mentors have tools?
Not necessarily in mentorship. What the tools that we normally have are mostly for personalities and for leadership. So what happens is you get to understand who you are. For example, what we offer through Profiles International is called the DISC personality test. So when you take DISC, it tells you how you show up with other people. So it helps you in when you're pairing with a mentee and a mentor, because then you get to understand this person thrives with this kind of people. So that one is very key, because then you can understand when you're pairing a mentor and a mentee, then how do you get that done effectively? Because not all mentors, by the way, mentorship, what do we call it? Mentor-mentee relationships are also very special. They're very, very special. Because mentor-mentee, this is somebody who actually works with you and helps you grow. Okay, so that relationship really has to make sense. Richard.
Thank you, Grace. There is a very interesting question here by Dr. Rebecca Ann Minor. She's saying that one of the challenges I encounter is when my students come to me that I become their mentor, then they expect me to keep looking for them and setting up opportunities for them. Is that something that also you encounter, Grace?
Absolutely. You know, somebody comes to my WhatsApp group, whatever, and asks me to be their mentor. Okay. And I say, okay, fine. And then that conversation ends there. You know, and what I've talked about the time, it takes a lot for somebody. Somebody has to commit time to be a mentor, and the mentee has to commit time. And in fact, most of the mentor-mentee, the unstructured mentor-mentee programs are actually run by the mentee, because you got to look for your mentor. Because remember, you're the one in need. For me, for example, or for another person, all the mentors that we have, most of them are willing to give back, but they're also probably busy with so many other things that this one becomes, you know. So because you're the one in need, please push for it. When you go to Dr. Rebecca and want to be mentored by Dr. Rebecca, please have a schedule. Ask Dr. Rebecca, can I be meeting you at 7 a.m. every Tuesday? Or can we be having lunch every 30 minutes at 1 o'clock? When are you available? Which days work for you? Because mentorship, for it to work, unless I'm spending time with you every day, because in the workplace, you can also be mentored. And that is very good, because then you see each other every day. You know, the one that we were talking about, skills there, it is skills being passed to you. Yes, Richard.
Thank you, Grace. There is a question by Jennifer. Should there be an obligation to pay or reward your mentor? How does one navigate such nuances and expectations? Should you pay your mentor, Grace?
It depends, right? Our mentorship program, for example, we are charging 24,000 shillings for the 8 weeks. Then that means that you will be paying us. But if it is the unstructured one, it depends now on the mentor. There are mentors who are not willing to get any money. They will walk the journey with you free of charge. But then there are people who want, if you're paying for it, then it had better been structured. You had better been structured so that then there's value for your money. So should you pay your mentor? Yes. But if you happen to land a mentor who is not willing, or rather who is willing to give it to you free of charge, take it and run. Richard.
There is a question by Vincent James. Can you have a relative as your mentor?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you have a relative who is doing what you're doing, if you have a relative who is able to give you the mentorship that you require, then why not? And are they willing to give you time? You know, you can even be mentored by your husband or your wife. If that relationship works, why not? Richard.
You mentioned the issue as you were presenting of sometimes you face very difficult mentees. How do you cut that relationship when you discover that the mentee do not have the mindset? for mentorship?
One of the things that I have seen work, Richard, is being able to give feedback. Okay. And it has to be very, very clear. You give feedback and you tell them that you are not committed to 1, 2, 3, or you're not willing to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and therefore, unfortunately, we have to stop our mentor-mentee relationship. And whenever you're ready, you can get in touch. Very clear, and you have to set boundaries, because you cannot be going round in circles. Somebody has signed up. I have seen people who sign up for a one-on-one mentorship, and then they show up for the first time. Then the next time they don't show up. And somebody somebody has booked you for 1 o'clock. You cleared your calendar for 1 o'clock, and then they somehow forget to tell you that they are not being able to come. So you stay there waiting for them to log into the call, or you have gone to wherever you are meeting for breakfast or for lunch. You have sat there, they are not showing up. Okay. Then at some point you have to draw boundaries. So it is very important that when you have challenging mentees or challenging mentors, you can also resign from a mentorship program. You can say, you know what, this is not working out for me. And you be willing to give feedback. I keep saying we need to be able to learn to communicate even when it is difficult conversations. It is important. You go because we do not like you. It is because, all right? It is because you are you're not showing up for yourself. So anytime you meet, yes, you need to cut. And remember, boundaries, and have very clear roles. If the mentee is the one supposed to set meetings, please set meetings on time. If it is the mentor, please set meetings on time. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you very much for those responses. And one of the things that I see in mentorship is tracking progress. Should you, mentor and mentee, know that there is progress, given that you will not be in the organization, for example, where this mentee will be? How will you as the mentor know that this person is making progress? Yes, at the best value, this person is showing you they have made progress, but you're not in the space where they are for you to know that they are making progress. Yet you, as an authentic mentor, you really value for money. You want to know that indeed.
Hi, Richard. I cannot hear you, Richard. Have we lost him? And can you hear? Oh, yeah, Richard, I couldn't hear you.
All right,
I don't know.
I'm asking, how do you track progress of a mentee, given that you are not in the space where this mentee will be practicing the trade that you have trained them? This value, they'll show you that they have made progress, but wherever they are saying, oh, I was mentored by Grace, but they're doing the wrong things. And they're saying, I was mentored by Grace. How can you be able to track progress?
One, you can have check-in. You can have check-ins, because the relationship between mentor and mentee is very personal. It's very individualized, so to speak. So you can have a way to have check-ins. But now there's this person who says that I was mentored by Grace, but they're doing the wrong things. That one, they're just messing with your name, because what can you do about that? Because most of the time you on for so long, and probably your brand is already on the line. So as a mentee, be diligent. Don't just use my name and then you go ahead and do your own things. I will teach you the right things that I know for a fact. And even if your boss, wherever you're working, asks me for whether that is what I taught you to write a HR report, I will give you the recording so that you can show them what I taught you, because I know that will be the right thing. So it is up to you. Integrity, let us practice integrity. Let us own whenever we don't know what you're doing. It is okay sometimes you get mentored and you're not understanding. Sometimes you are mentored when you're very young in your career, and then by the time you get to the level where you need to start writing reports, You have forgotten. It is always okay to call back Grace and say, you know what, Grace, I need a review of that class we had on mentorship, on report writing. Please take me through again, you know, so that then you're on the same level with everybody else. And it's wrong to use people's name like that, because sometimes you're unatuharibia jina.
Thank you, Grace. I can see Coach Madangani has said mentorship calls for commitment from both mentee and mentor. Mentee should have a plan of what their growth needs are. And I guess that's what you meant by have a structured relationship. Mentees sometimes should expect a mentor to provide solutions on a cut and paste solution. It is a relationship that is nurtured. And Maina has said, thank you so much for this. I can see Alice Ruto is asking, can you mentor across different professions? I think that is a question. Can you mentor a lawyer if you are a HR person? Can you mentor an advocate while you're in HR? I think that's what she means. Is it possible to mentor across professions?
Yes and no. If I'm mentoring a lawyer, am I mentoring them into leadership? Because leadership can cut across. But if it's HR technical HR, then no. If it's legal technical legal, then no. But if it is leadership, it is communication, it is interviews. Those are some of the general soft skills, emotional intelligence. Yes, those ones can happen across, but not the technical areas of that whatever of that program. And I see Felix Kalo asking, when are we starting the classes? Tomorrow, my friend. And Anne Wamonje is here, our project manager or our operations manager at Tatara Solutions. Anne, tell us, when are we starting classes?
And the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Richard. And thank you so much, Grace. Good evening, guys. And I'm glad this session has come at a very good time because as Atara, what we are trying to do is start our second cohort of the mentorship program for the growth grid that we have done. We finalized on that in April. So we welcome everybody to join us. For those who are willing, looking to transition from junior HR positions to management roles, this slot is open for you. So we are still receiving applications. Should you want to join the program, please feel free. Jacinta, you probably would like to share the link to that on the chat also, so that those who may have missed it may relook it and they want to register. Other than that, I think I just went into the to the mentorship thing immediately. My name is Anne Wamonje. I am a certified HR practitioner for those whom we've not met in these sessions. And I am a consultant at Atara. And as Grace, I don't know, I am not a programs manager. I am not a manager. I don't like using the manager title because of other reasons. But that notwithstanding, I still handle the projects at Atara. And this is one of our baby projects that we are trying to get the HR people to the next level, because one of the things, or rather the reasons why we have started this program, is because over the course of when we were recruiting, one of the things we noticed is that a lot of HR professionals who have been in the industry for a while, actually, they lack the basic understanding of the HR function. And then at the same time, there is a gap when it comes to transitioning from the operational, or do I call the administrative HR side, to the strategic HR function. And that is why the Growth Grid program is aimed at bridging that gap, so that as you transition into the management role, you can be able to do it very smoothly. And as I wind up, I think this has been said over and over, mentorship requires commitment from both parties. So even as you join this program or any other that you would choose to join, please note that if you are not committed, your mentor will not be committed any more than you Your mentor cannot want it more than you want it for yourself. So commitment from your side, and also you need to have accountability from your mentor's side, so that if they are showing lack of commitment, you can be able to remind them, these are what I was looking at as results at the end of this program. So far, I have gotten to this point, and I am hoping that by the time we are done, I am at this level, so that you can be able to have a relationship that is beneficial to you at the end of it, especially when you're paying for it. And even if you're not paying for it, you're putting in time in that program. So commitment from both parties, and you get where you are looking to go if you remain committed and you know what results will actually look like for you at the end of the program. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you very much. And Anne has written a book about
Overcoming imposter syndrome. I am a
yes.
published author. I want to say that very loudly. I am a published author, and the book I have co-authored on Overcoming Imposter Syndrome will be launched on the 12th of July. So if you would like to get a copy, please reach out to me directly, and we'll see what we can do. A copy goes for Kenya shillings 2,000, and yeah, I think that's it.
Very good. Let me see. Thank you very much, Anne. I can see Irene Wangeshi has said, thank you very much, Grace. Jen, thank you very much, Grace, for the insights. What else should we not forget to say? So tomorrow, start your mentorship program. Grace, there's this question that is escaping my mind. How do you get to know that you need mentorship? Are there signs, for example, that you notice, I really need mentorship? What do you need to notice? Just like doctors ask you, how are you feeling today, so that they can be able to treat you. How can Richard be able to look at himself, oh, I need some mentorship? Are there signs?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They are when you're feeling unsure, I want this, I'm not too sure how to go about it. That is number one sign that you need a mentor or a coach. The second thing is I have a dream. I have a dream of where I want to be. But I really need to understand what happens there, that is also another sign. Or it could be no sign at all. You just enjoy learning, you just enjoy knowing stuff, you just enjoy being in the company of people who are discussing HR matters, discussing legal matters, discussing internal audit matters. That is also a sign that you want to tap into this knowledge. Okay, so it could be different telltale signs, but every time, one of the serious ones is every time you feel stuck, you're like, oh God, I'm not growing. I've been a HR assistant for like 10 years. I've been a HR assistant for the last 4 years. I want to go to HR officer level. I want to go to HR manager level. That is a sign that you need a mentor, and then you feel like you're not progressing. You have gone to school, you have done this, but you're still not progressing. You're still not able to get it right. That is another opportunity for mentorship. Richard.
Thank you, Grace. I know some of the questions that people could like to ask, but they're not asking. Can people pay for mentorship in installments, or they have to pay in lump sum?
Our mentorship, we are open to installments, but get in touch with us so that we can get to an agreement.
Great. Thank you very much. You've really been able to open the concept of mentorship. As you prepare for your parting shot, let me see what has been said. Justine has said, amazing presentation. I can see who else has said something. Emily Odhiambo, I have read the book. I don't know if she means the book by Anne Wamonje. Grace, what should you want people to remember in this conversation of mentorship?
Okay, two things, two quotes rather. The first quote is by Jay Lauren. He normally says that if you cannot see where you're going, ask someone who has been there before. If you cannot see where you're going, ask someone who has been there before. Okay, that is number one. Number two, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. I tell you what, when you see Grace and you want to be Grace, when you see Anne and you want to be Anne, when you see Richard and you want to be Richard, we are not where we are because we have done it alone. We have worked with people. We have people we call even right now. For example, we are just finished KRA taxes. We are busy consulting finance guys because they understand that line of business, you know. So, and somebody asked about whether we can cross mentor. For me, for example, because in leadership, I want to understand finance things. So finance is one of the things that I'm getting mentorship on as we speak, because I want to understand things in the finance world. Okay. So we have different areas that we need mentorship. So my call to you is, if you need a mentor, please be committed, sacrifice time, sacrifice, and make sure it is structured so there's value for you and there's value for your mentor. Okay. It is really, really important that you actually are very clear, you know, so that then it becomes a win-win situation. It doesn't feel like somebody is taking advantage of the other. No. Let us structure our mentorship programs. And my call to you again, as an individual, please sign up for our Growth Grid mentorship program. But also in your organizations, please set up mentorship programs, because we cannot keep complaining that we have half-baked graduates. We need to make sure we are growing our workforce and we are developing our talent. Thank you very much. Back to you, Richard.
Thank you, Grace Nzula. We pray and hope that people are going to get into the mentorship program tomorrow. What time is it? Between what time? Have we mentioned the time?
7:30 to 9:30 p.m.
Very good. I can see Rhoda Ndanu has said, thank you, Grace, for breaking down the concept of mentorship. You're such an eloquent speaker, firm, and smart. Jacinta has shared the platform where get it right, people get to join and they get to get a lot of material. You can join the platform so that you can continue gaining some knowledge that will assist you in your professional or business excellence. And we cannot take you for granted for having carved time to come and learn. Without you, getting it right will not be there. It is because of you that getting it right is possible. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a good night. Let us meet on Tuesday. Get it right in another topic. Cheers. Good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Richard. And thank you, Catherine Sidandi, and to you guys for joining us. It's been a pleasure and I'm happy. And maybe, Richard, we can also say what we normally say. Please follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get it right with the Tara Solutions. And of course, sign up for the Growth Grid Mentorship Program that is starting tomorrow. And please get in touch with us for more details. And thank you so much, and have a blessed week.
Thank you very much. And of course, refer Atara Solutions to organizations, to your colleagues, to your friends. That is how they can be able to bring this program to pay for Zoom. Don't forget that. Good night.
Good night, lovely people. Good night. What have you done for me?
We can share a love divine. Please don't make me wait again. When will you say yes to me? When will you say yes to me? Tell me quando, quando, quando. Tell me quando, quando, quando. You mean happiness to me. You mean happiness to me. Oh my love, please tell me when. Every moment's a day. Every day seems a lifetime. Let me show you the way to a joy beyond compare. To a joy beyond compare. I can wait a moment more. I can wait a moment more. Tell me quando, quando, quando. Tell me quando, quando, quando. Say it's me that you adore. And then, darling, tell